Welcome to Hermit Woods, where there's a story in every bottle.
We are live.
We're live. Yet again, another Monday night. With
Who knew?
Everybody, who knew?
According to Bob, we are alive.
We are live.
She didn't say we're alive.
Cheers.
We are
Cheers to being live.
Cheers. Cheers to being alive.
Can't quite reach Ken.
And
Cheers, Ken.
live.
Here, pass that to Ken. And
Welcome,
cheers to our
everybody.
audience.
Yes, thank you for joining us for yet again another Monday night with the Hermits.
Oh, we got someone else here, though.
The Hermits and more.
We have a special guest.
Yay!
Am I a hermit?
If you'd
Well,
like to be.
You'll have to tell us about it, yeah.
You just joined the club. You're a
did,
hermit.
I joined
You're
the club,
absolutely,
yes.
you're a hermit.
I'm a hermit.
So, another Monday night with the Hermits. So, thank you for joining us again, as always. We really appreciate it. And if you are joining us for the first time, we would love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube or Facebook channel. If you want to subscribe to YouTube, if you look down below Ken's legs, you'll see a subscribe button. Please push it. And if you're on Facebook, there's a little bell. Push the bell and you'll subscribe to our Facebook channel. And the reason you should subscribe is because that way, every time we go live, you'll get notified and you'll be able to join in the fun. And we don't just go live here on Monday nights. Sometimes we go live in the wilds of the world. We might be on the top of a mountain or in the Narragansett Bay, or whoever knows where we might end up. So if you want a little
almost
surprise.
daytime.
What?
It's almost
daytime.
Ocean again.
Yeah, we'll talk about that actually in a bit. But so please subscribe to our channels and learn about what's going on here at Hermit Woods. If you are joining us either for the first time or either way, or been here every Monday, we'd love to let us know that you're here. So put a comment in the comment section of YouTube or Facebook, and we will know you're here. Leave your name, say hello. If you have any questions during the show, please ask those questions, and we'll do our best to answer them live. And if we can't get to them live, we'll get to them after the show. And if you like what we're talking about and you enjoy this show, please like it, share it amongst your friends, and let other folks know that we're here and that we're here every Monday night. And that way they can join in all the fun. So I think I covered everything. And
That's good. I was going to attempt to hold my breath during that, but I wouldn't turn blue.
well, you should know by now.
We want Ken to be live, so I'm glad
Yes.
that did not
Wants to
happen.
be
Alive.
Blue. Not very long, but
Yeah.
just for a moment.
Yeah.
So
Then I go white.
blue.
Blue.
You could be blue.
Petite blue.
Next order of business. What are we drinking? We're all drinking something a little different.
Yeah, not quite blue.
This is summer in session.
This is summer in session. Marika has summer in session, and you have Petite Blue Reserve. You're a special guest.
TBR.
So,
Yeah.
so yes, we're all and if you are enjoying a beverage, one of ours or otherwise, we would love to have you share that with us and let us know what you're.
Anybody drinking Campari out there?
Campari? Any Camparis? I'm gonna have a sip here.
Not Campari.
Have you had Campari with summer in session?
No.
That'd be interesting.
No.
I remember doing it with the spring in session. That was one of your favorite mixes, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I did that.
The spring, the lighter one? I thought that was it. That was a bit ago.
Anyway,
Hard to remember.
so
So who's our guest?
yes.
We have a special guest.
This is exciting. So, Carole Soule.
Soule?
Soule? How do you say it?
Soul.
Soul?
Soul.
How would you say it?
Well,
Soul of the world.
I say soul, but it could be soleil. It could be that.
Okay. Well, that's very French.
Yes, it is.
Are you French?
Do you know what soleil means in French?
I don't.
Means soul.
It means drunken woman.
Does it really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's
I have
wonderful.
friends-
Cheers to that.
Yes, I love it.
Right guest on our
Yeah.
show.
There you go.
And I want to tell you you, the best wine to get drunk on is
Really?
Hermit Woods.
because sometimes
We didn't pay her to say
yeah,
that. But
sometimes I will go a little overboard on my Sunday night dinner with Judy, my neighbor, and have a little too much wine. And with other wines, not to be mentioned, I will wake up with a headache.
You wake up fine after
I
wild
don't
blueberries.
even know it.
So
It's-
wild blueberries,
Yes.
people study this for marathon runners. They recover much faster after a marathon by eating wild blueberries than regular blueberries or other fruit. Wild blueberries recover. And I can corroborate your results there. I too have consumed
Just by accident.
bottle
not
of wine
necessarily.
just by accident
Yeah,
one
yeah.
night and
It's
just
just there.
wake up feeling great the next day, ready to roll.
Yeah. So liquid blueberries do the same thing that the
I
fruit.
think they do.
Apparently.
We've got 2 data points here.
Apparently,
Yeah.
that proves the fact right there.
So Ken has always asked me, I'm a runner and I do a lot of running in the morning. He's always asked me, make sure you eat lots of blueberries when you get back from your run,
Right.
which is just, it's not part of my routine, stuffing my face with blueberries.
But you
when
can
I'm
drink
running.
some wine.
But now I'm thinking maybe if I come back.
Just come back to have some petit
In the
bleu.
morning.
Yeah.
Start a new thing. Yeah. The
Interesting.
drunken woman
Wait,
tells you.
it's
That's
6 o'clock in the morning, have a glass of wine, but it might work out.
Yeah, it's your
I think
juice.
there's
Your
like
juice with
more
breakfast.
nutrition
Mhm.
in wild blueberries and elderberries and things like this than Cabernet Sauvignon grapes. It just, if you look at the nutritional
So
profile
you're getting
of those fruits, you're
nutrition
getting
as well as
that's
like.
what it's all about.
Absolutely. Antioxidants.
Lots of
Oh my gosh.
And if you were to
The
read
list
the
goes
book,
on.
if you were to read the book that I'm reading, Drunk, there are also long lists of other advantages to
drinking.
Drinking. So
You figured
we'll see.
that out without that book.
I know we didn't. we
That
didn't need
book's
a,
just
we didn't need a
supporting you.
PhD
That's just-
to
that's
tell
just
me
hitting
that there are
you.
lots of benefits to enjoying a glass of wine. So anyway, Carole is the owner of Miles Smith, co-owner of Miles Smith Farm, and we met Carole, I don't know, 4 or 5 years
You
ago.
called out of the blue.
We
and
called out of the blue.
petite blue.
Out of the
Out of the petit bleu. Right.
brilliant, like, all right, great guest. You're
Keep bringing it back.
We're
Yeah,
gonna,
did you reached out to us?
No.
No.
I had
no,
no
no.
idea
reached
who
out
you
to
were.
you.
So the story goes, I'll tell the
Oh,
backstory.
Yes,
that's right,
please
because
tell the
Tim was
story.
no longer taking
So
the fruit.
Tim, for many years,
Ah,
we
that's what-
delivered our excess fruit, the skins, the pulp, the seeds. After we would press our fruit, we had to find a place for the leftover material.
And
We
I know
didn't
what
wanna-
that's called.
It's what's it called?
Goop.
Must.
Must. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So we
The
must
goop.
find a place for our must. And so we could have put it in compost, and some of it does go into compost, and you use that in your gardens and such. But we have more volume of it than we need for
Oh, yeah.
compost.
Yeah.
So we met this guy Tim, who had
He had some pigs.
raised pigs, and those pigs were raised for meat. And he took our must for years.
Yep.
3,
He
4,
used to
5
go to
years.
Starbucks and get their coffee grinds and come up to the supermarket.
This
and
is
get
great. The
old
pigs had
fruit.
coffee in the morning and wine in the afternoon. Such a life.
He would switch them just to mess with them.
Well, he messed with them all right. So
No, you're not telling that story.
yeah, I've got to tell the story.
You're gonna tell the
Carole
story?
told me to tell the story. She asked
really?
me, he insisted.
Do we have a picture? Do you have a picture? Very
I
good.
don't think we have the picture. I have it somewhere.
One of the smiling drunk pigs.
So the pigs,
Give
yeah,
me the story away.
the pigs get drunk, of course, because it's what you figure about 4 or 5% alcohol in the must when you deliver it. No, not at that stage, right? I mean, it's near the end. No, but you press
10%?
off the juice, so I don't know.
Well, I don't know how much
It's
alcohol by
retained.
volume.
Yeah, so whatever.
The ABV.
The good news is there's alcohol in it.
There's alcohol.
And the pigs rather enjoyed that, and we got a story from Tim one day. It was a really sad story. Tim would raise his pigs for multiple years. Many pig farmers will slaughter their pigs at the end of 1 year, but Tim would create these 500, 600, 700-pound pigs. So they're really big pigs. I don't know if you've ever seen a 700-pound pig, but it's huge. And he came
It's
in
like
one
the
day and he
couch.
told this sad story about how his mother pig got a little bit too soused.
Well, the way he described it to me was he would bring over a tote, one of these 300-gallon plastic metal cage things. He would drop it off here, and then we would fill it up. He'd come back, we'd put it in the back of his truck. He just had a tractor displaced, but no forks. So he would just pull his pickup truck to it, and then put a rope on it, and pull it, and let it tip off the back of his truck. And then he would usually put up a barrier so that the pigs wouldn't
Get it all at once.
Get it all at once.
Yeah.
But this big old pig got in through the barrier and just went to town on all
As
those
pigs do,
blueberries or
yeah.
whatever it was. And that's how that happened.
Well, and then the pig got a little bit too drunk and sadly, on a muddy day, rolled over on the piglet and, well, there goes the story. So the piglet never survived. And
And we learned that
wasn't-
pigs can get a bit too drunk.
we learned that pigs can be too
does that
drunk.
happen
But then-
without pigs getting drunk? Do they
Oh,
sometimes
well,
roll
yes,
over
yes,
and-
they will. So I'm not sure it was the being drunk, but we can just
We're gonna stick
we
with
can
the
stick
drunk
with the
story.
drunk story
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But they did, I thought when I started having a sow, we had a sow that would give birth, and I thought I'm not going to let my sow sit on her piglets.
Who would?
Well, you can't help it because you're not unless you stay there the whole time.
Right.
You know,
right.
they just get in the wrong place. But what you do give the piglets is a
I
little
thought
place.
pigs were really smart.
Well, they are. So after a day or two, they learn to run away when mom lies down. When
That's
mom
good.
starts
Here
to
it
like
comes,
it,
here it comes.
very
Run,
slow,
run, run,
and they scoot under. You build a little place for them to get away.
That's good.
A little
Hideaway,
Safe
yeah,
haven.
hideaway.
yeah, and put a little light there.
And the drinking probably just doesn't help.
No,
Probably just makes it more
like most
complicated.
mothers would, as they're lying on the piglet and it's squealing, they would get up. You know, they go, "Oh, I'm lying on my
Not this
child.
one."
I need to get up." But when you're a little soused, your sow is a little soused.
There you go.
You know, that's gonna not work.
So how did you?
So,
did
so,
you?
so it was shortly after. I'll get to that. So
Yes.
it's shortly after this. It wasn't long after that. He discontinued his pig farm, and we were.
He was too brokenhearted, right?
right.
Broken up
Just
about it.
absolutely
It was too
crushed.
It was crap.
So, Priscilla's going to be loving this one. So I hope you're out there, Priscilla.
Yeah, we haven't. She's not on. I
hasn't
don't think
shown
she's
up
on
yet?
yet because
Oh,
we
so
don't. We
it's
haven't
fine.
gotten
We're
any.
watching
There's so
the-
many puns that I'm sure she'd be tying in.
So Tim eventually closed his farm, and Ken and I were in a little bit of a panic because we have a lot of must to find homes for. So I got out the yellow pages, just kidding, Google, and started looking up local farms in the area. And I was aware of your farm. It wasn't that you were new to me,
All right.
but
So we had a reputation.
I didn't have your number, so I had to find it, and I called you and a couple other farms, and you were the first one to get back to me. It was almost immediate, I think. You were
Cool.
like, yes,
Cool.
we would love to take your must, and
And that was been it.
that's it. You
That's it. You're it.
you were the first one to
We're
call
it.
back.
Tag,
and
you're it.
You're it.
Happy
Tag, you're
to,
it.
and it's been great. We've gotten to know you quite a bit since then. and-
Yes, yes. And our pigs, we did have pigs then, we don't have them anymore. But I
Why?
need to, well, we had two 800-pound sows. And we got, they stopped having babies. And then I wasn't sure I wanted babies anymore because the babies always get out. So piglets are
Or
so
crushed.
smart.
Well done, Bob. I know. It's so exciting.
Look, I can't go on now. That's it.
yes,
You
you
can
can.
go here.
The pigs get out.
So the little pigs, they're like, 20, 30 pounds.
Cute. I know.
Adorable. And the
Very cute.
smartest little things.
Super smart.
But they would open the door and get out and run down to the neighbors, and the neighbors would call me and say, "You pigs down here." And I'd go down and look for the pigs, and they were all back in the pen, looking at me like, wasn't us down there, it was somebody else. You
I would
know?
never do that.
I wouldn't go down there and tear up their garden. No, not me. It just got a little bit too much. So we stopped doing pigs. But the cows love the must too.
And they don't get drunk.
No, well,
They
not
don't
as
get
quickly, not as quickly.
But they
Takes
do
them
get
a
But they
little
do?
while. Yeah, they do.
Because I had a theory about that with their stomachs processing grass, that there's probably some methanol that gets created through the digestion.
That makes
And so
sense.
biologically, they figured out how to not get affected by that
Scientists.
methanol. And so I thought, okay, with ethanol that's coming in, they're already sort of can deal with that. But maybe
If
not.
they
So,
get
so
too
you
much,
have seen them?
they can get too
They
much.
can get too much.
And then they get a little wobbly. They too start falling over. And when you see them a little wobbly, you
So
have
this
to.
is like Chuck after a whole fifth of vodka.
It gets a little wobbly.
Yeah, you can get a little wobbly. Before that, you never know it.
And I don't know, I've never lost one because they've gotten a little wobbly because they they're just a little bit, have a little bit too much alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But they do eventually, but it takes a lot longer. So they still like them. They still like the must. They love it. Yeah.
So
They
do-
like the apple must the best.
The best?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's coming on Wednesday. Lots of
Yep.
apples.
Do you
Crab
know
apples
that-
that we picked.
Yes. Oh, good.
They're must. Soon to be
So
pressed.
there's also deer enjoy going into the orchards in the late season
They
for
will
the
eat
same
too many
reason.
apples. Yeah.
And the
Start
rotten
cooking.
apples have been fermenting on the ground, so some of the deer will get a little bit soused.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will.
It's like the cow.
Sit down on their babies.
I bet when I take my tour, when I give my tour, and I talk about how wine is really just made in nature, and talk about how in fact the animal kingdom has been aware of where
Participating in the
alcohol is
alcohol.
produced
They've been around longer than we have.
Yeah.
way longer than we have. They figured this stuff
They
out
know
a long
the,
time
they know
ago.
the root.
Yeah.
They didn't figure it out as well as we have.
Well, we've
We
mastered
figured
it.
out.
They figured it out. We've mastered
We've
it.
distilled.
Yeah.
We figured out how to go right to the source.
That's right. Well, yeah, no, I was going to say maybe the freezing, thawing thing. Maybe there's some distilling going on in nature, but no, probably wouldn't have it. It has to have a container. So, never mind.
Yeah, so we have seen cows, and can I mention the name of my farm again?
Please do. In fact, this is a good time to, now that we've introduced
I wanna
you
hear the
and
background.
farm, I want to know
how you,
about
Oh.
I wanna
farm.
hear your
So
story.
tell us about Miles Smith Farm. How did you become? How did this all come together for you?
Well, it started
Have you
when
been
I-
a farmer all your life?
That's a really good question. And so let me start with who Miles Smith was. He was a farmer who built the farm that I live in the 1850s. And I live in his house.
Oh, that's
And he's
wonderful.
actually buried with his family in a cemetery
property?
that's within
Oh.
sight of the house, which is so cool. So and the chimney, he built the chimney in the house. He built it, he created every
This is the same
brick
time that the
individually.
Hermit Woods was alive.
I was just thinking, yeah, that was about the right time. They
Do
would
you
have
know
been
about the
contemporary.
Hermit?
No.
1850.
No, shall I hear about it?
Yes.
No, she just got started.
No,
They were-
no, but let me just throw this out because it's
The-
perfect timing. We
the-
don't want to lose
The Spark Notes version.
Yeah, so the Hermit of Hermit Hill is Joseph Plummer. He died in 1862.
Okay.
And he's buried in a cemetery in Samberton. Oh no, in Meredith,
In
on the
Meredith.
border, right near Samberton. And it says right on his gravestone, the Hermit of Meredith Hill. That's how we got our name.
I wondered about
Hermit
that.
Woods, Hermit Pond, Hermit Woods Road, all because of Joseph Plummer. So he was wandering around the same time that
It's
Miles
Smith.
Smith.
Miles Smith.
Miles
They might have known
probably
each
came
other.
up here and did something up here because he was a
I wonder if Miles Smith and Joseph Plummer
had a
ever
yeah.
knew about each other or interacted.
So Joseph used to weigh people. He created a way to weigh
It was
people.
like a seesaw. You put stones and people would
He had
come
a
and
weighing
So it was a
machine.
way to, he had to
Weighing
find a way
machine.
to generate income to buy some of his supplies, because
Yeah.
he really was a hermit. And that's what one of the things he was known
Did he
for.
weigh other things and people like, did he weigh hay? Because hay needs to be weighed. So he
Possibly.
weighed
Wonder.
hay.
That's a good question.
Maybe that's why he invented it.
But it
He
ended up
wasn't-
being more
he
just
wasn't a
the local
merchant so
ladies
much.
needed to come out and
He
find
was
out
a
how many
hermit,
much they weighed.
And he was getting by. The foundation to his house and barn is in the woods and right near the cemetery.
That's so cool. Have you visited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually planning a hike out to that at the end of October. It's gonna be right around Halloween and right around the Hermit's birthday. I think
Cool.
I think October 28th is the date we have earmarked for that. So we're planning a group visit to
So
that.
we're going to
Details.
that Miles Smith
Is
Soon.
a friend of
Is
the
a-
I'm
hermit.
gonna
He
dress
got
up as
weighed.
Miles Smith to go meet Joseph.
Well, Miles,
Dress up as Joseph.
that's not, he died at 870, he was 74,
In what
which is
year?
really old.
For that time, yeah.
1886, I think.
Oh,
So
so
it's
very
perfect.
similar.
Yeah.
I don't know how old the hermit was. I think he says it on the stone, but I don't recall.
I want to say
But you
60s,
probably
maybe.
have a photograph of it.
I do have a photograph.
Oh yeah, and segue to my book.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
say
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I named them.
Yes, I named them.
So the title comes from a system that I have for identifying my cows. I used to give them numbers, but I'd go out in the field and number 86 would do something, and I'd go back to like attack me or run away or something I wanted to make note of. And I'd go back to the house and I said, was that 86 or was that 68?
Had you had a glass of wine at this point?
I should have, it would have made it better if I'd had a glass of wine. So I decided a name. So now I know Maybelle from Cobby, from all the names. And they all have ear tags with names on them.
With
So,
names, not
yeah,
numbers.
Yeah, not numbers. So
So
this
when
is
did you switch from numbers to names?
in about 2012. About 2012.
When did you start this?
Well, it was a long story. I actually started when I was about 7. 7 years old. I wanted a horse. I wanted a pony.
There's a lot of 7-year-olds.
Yeah, I remember my sister wanted one.
Exactly. And my theory is that we become who we are from our 7-year-old selves. So,
That's a good theory.
who
I like
were
that.
you when you were 7?
Oh my goodness.
7? That's like around
No, I'm gonna need to
second
think about it.
grade.
Okay, let's
Because
move
I,
to
I,
Ken.
think,
I bet
I
Ken.
think there's a good answer to that. But
I
I'm
bet
gonna-
Ken knows it.
I was going to be a pirate. I think I was 5.
Well, you are
5.
kind of a pirate.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, you're trying to disrupt me during my that's a pirate kind of thing.
I wanted to disrupt it.
Well, that's what you need.
So you're pirate under
That's sort
control.
of a pirate kind of thing.
But I was a pirate.
Yeah, I get that.
It was.
You still
I had
are.
this wallpaper. on my room. It had black mirrors.
Cool.
Serious.
That was
Really
that was it.
serious.
Oh yeah, we used to make swords and put up sheets on a pole like a sailing ship, and we'd run out and grab stuff. Maybe it's a dog or a cat. Bring it on.
Pillage.
board and make it walk a plank.
Pillage the
This is
house.
interesting to learn, right? As we're going on a sailing trip. We're going to be sailing.
And maybe
with
that's why I
with
do
the
like
pirates.
sailing now, because I really never thought about this.
Oh, I like this theory.
Yeah, it's a good theory, huh? And so many people I talk to are who they are today because of their dreams when they were 7. I think at 7, we decided. Oh, do you know what you were going to be when you were 7?
A librarian.
Librarian. That's it.
Or a teacher, I think. Yeah.
Have you filled your dream?
Not that one, but that's okay. I read a lot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there was a point in middle school where I wanted to grow up and work at a vineyard, so
Well,
that's a good one.
that whole period is it? So when we're 7 or 8,
So at 7, you decided you want a horse.
I wanted a horse,
But-
and I just wanted a horse, and I knew I needed a horse. And by the time I was 8, I was a little smarter when I was 8, and I started I worked with my mom so that I would take violin lessons if she let me take horseback riding lessons.
Oh my
It was a treat.
You want to know? I had a horse.
He was a horseback rider.
And I played the violin.
Oh my god!
I'm serious.
Oh my god!
And I
But
love
you
them
didn't
both.
barter back and both.
I didn't have to
You
barter
liked
because
them.
I wanted to play the violin. My problem
Well,
was is they wanted me to play classical violin, and I wanted to play the
Fiddle. Fiddle is the
Mhm.
best.
So I
Do you
did.
still play?
No, I gave it up.
But
They
you
wouldn't
could
let me.
now.
I could. In fact, I took lessons about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the time.
I didn't know this. Did you know this?
I didn't know about the horse. I didn't know the
so
horse
I had a
part.
horse. I took care of a horse
You should
when I was
see him.
7
I've
or
seen
8
him in
years
his
old.
full riding regalia.
Oh.
Oh, I bet it. Yeah.
With a picture.
Picture.
With
Oh.
a picture.
With a, see, I already.
So yes, I rode. This is a finicky little stand.
Yeah.
I rode a really nice. It was a racehorse, Appaloosa racehorse.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
it was. I walked by this very wealthy farm, and the owners of the farm were moving on in life and didn't have time to take care of the horses. So they secured me to take care of Kayla.
Mm.
No.
Kayla?
Not Kayla.
What's the name of your dog?
No, I know. It was a famous Indian name for a horse. Now I'll think of it. Anyway,
You will.
I was taking care of the horse every day on the way to elementary school, and every day on the way back. And eventually, the horse was given to me. And when I was 10 or 11, I had the horse for a couple of years. But unfortunately, I didn't have the resources to have the spread that this horse was used to. This horse had this luxurious multi-acre farm with vast fields to roam every day, and then I'd put him in a little corral of an acre or half an acre, and it would get out always and go home. It knew how to get home. And eventually, my family and I decided I didn't have the resources to be a horse owner, so we.
A little hard when you're
with
8.
your, did you grow up on a farm? Did you
No,
grow
oh
up
God, no, I grew up in suburbia.
Where?
Yeah, I was going to put the pony, this was in the 50s. I guess I'm dating myself. But we used to, you get Sears catalog, and in Sears catalog, they had a pony
Oh,
for
yeah.
for
You could buy a
150
pony from Sears.
Oh my God!
Buy everything
Oh
from
my
Sears.
God!
Sears
It came
is
in a
it,
crate.
yeah.
You could buy it, and you
You
could
buy a
get
house.
Yeah, yeah.
I lived in
So,
one.
You lived in a
A
crate?
Sears house.
A Sears
I
house?
lived in
That's
a Sears
wild.
house, too.
So every time the catalog came, I would find that page and I'd go, there's my pony, and that was my pony.
Where did you grow up?
Bedford, Mass.
Okay.
Massachusetts. It was a suburb.
Yeah.
But we did find a little place around the corner where they did have a horse, and his name was Sammy, and I went down and I took lessons on Sammy.
You still remember your first
I do. I don't remember anything else. I remember Sammy.
So, when was it in life between 7 or 8 when you were locked in on this to where you finally had
Well,
with big animals?
when I was 20, I fell in love with a man who had property, and he said, perhaps we should get married, and if we get married, you can have a horse. So,
There we go.
falling in love, having a horse, no brainer.
Seems like a pretty good deal. Yeah.
I agree, right?
Wow.
A man with property. So that was Loring, my husband, who had the Miles Smith. Well, at that point, it
Did
was
he purchase it before?
Yeah, he was living there before.
So he already had it.
Yes, he already had it.
Was
And
he working there or did he own it?
Well, he owned it, and I came to work as a counselor. It was a school for delinquent teenagers. So
His
I
farm?
came, yes, the farm. Where I am now is
Yeah.
a school for delinquent teenagers.
Wow.
It's called Rivendell School. And
What year-ish? When was the time period?
172.
How long was it? Do you know how long it was operational? Is that school?
Oh yeah, it was operational until like 78 or 79, when the whole child abuse thing came in, and we had some issues with kids accusing, falsely accusing. Actually, it came under the first time. Does anybody remember our governor Milton Thompson? No.
I know the name.
Yeah.
This was around the time that the state school closed.
Well,
So this was part of that. Probably
Right,
part
we
of
were
that
getting
trend.
all the kids from the state schools. They were coming to our place because we would take kids that couldn't
Is this
survive
how
anywhere
you
else.
know Gordon DuBois?
No, I don't. Why was he a
He
troubled
worked in the
child?
state school.
Oh, I
Worked
didn't
in
know
the state
that.
school.
That's
That's
a
what I did.
connection I didn't know about.
Interesting.
So we took delinquent kids from Massachusetts and from New Hampshire, and at one point we were taking so many kids from YDC, which was now called something else, the Sununu, the child. It's a thing in Manchester.
Yes,
where
that they're trying to close.
Yeah, yeah. And Governor Thompson visited the school, and he kind of closed us down for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because we had an American flag draped on the dress. This is getting a little serious.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Let's move on from that.
So the school closed.
Okay.
Close the school.
So the school got closed, and we did other things. And at one point, then he died in 1999. My first husband, Lauren, who was the man who had the property and said, buy a horse and we'll get married. And that was a great relationship. But he did die in 1999. And then I met Bruce, my current husband, who
Did you tell him, marry me and you can have a horse?
actually it was better
No,
than that.
you can have a farm.
It was
A farmer, yeah.
His proposal was, I think it would be more convenient if we lived together. And by the way, I'm selling my house and buying a tractor. And I said, no brainer.
We could use a tractor.
We
So
could
the
use
tractor.
a tractor.
So you
So I got a
married a
horse
guy
with the
with a
first
tractor.
husband and the
A
second
tractor
husband.
with a second one.
Yeah, so there's just,
There you
I'm
go.
just the
You were meant to have a farm.
I was meant to.
Miles Smith was.
Yeah.
Now, was that originally a farm?
Yes.
Was
yes,
Miles Smith
yes,
a farmer?
Yes. Yes. I have the records back from the census records. I know how many people were living in the house.
Yep.
I know how many cows he had. I know that he had an orchard. And then it was really cool because when he died, the house went to a woman called Sarah Whitehouse, which is the name of our road now. She was a midwife, and I talk about both of these people. I talk about
In your book?
in my book.
Yes,
I
in your
talk about
history?
all
Oh,
of them.
great.
Loring and Miles Smith and Sarah Whitehouse. I talk about them all.
Where can we get this book?
You can get this book. Well, I hate to. Should I say where you can get it?
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
You can get it online.
I already put the link.
I'm
Don't you
gonna do
wanna
it.
know? Don't
Yep.
you want to have people
Yes.
connect to
Yes.
where they can get your book?
They can get this from Amazon. You can get it on
Amazon.
Amazon. And I'm
You
doing.
can probably get it from the farm, right?
Yes, you can get it from our farm. Come and visit the farm. And it's all about, the back says life, death, and miracles on a small New Hampshire farm. And that's what it's about. It's really about.
So you mentioned a passage that you thought was particularly telling.
Yes, I did.
You would
Yes.
like to share with us.
Yes.
So-
Is it okay? to
yes,
do that
I think
now?
you should read that passage.
So, This is towards the end, after I've accidentally killed many cows.
This is a learning process?
Yeah.
This is going to involve
So-
wine?
Well, no, it involved bread.
Okay.
It involved bread. I accidentally
Speaking
killed
of,
bread.
could I have a small pour of the Lake House Red that you've got over there? Whatever the older of the two bottles, we should use that one first.
Older.
Was there a reason you selected the various wines you brought?
I did, yeah.
We'll get to that after.
Oh, I'm fascinated. That would be great. Oh, shall we?
Thanks.
Yes, that would be awesome. Since we're doing this.
Would you like some vodka?
I'm
I'm
hoping
finishing mine.
that my friends from Hawaii have joined because I invited them. But who knows? If they did.
They haven't commented, but if you are here, please let us know.
Yeah,
Hawaii?
that's three.
No.
Hawaii? Oh no, it's 6. Yeah, it's 3 and 3. I'm trying to remember taking my. I was taking my 1-year-old kid to Hawaii from the East Coast.
So you know the time.
Yeah, so it was not nice to have a kid that was 6 hours off the normal schedule.
Never nice.
Never nice to have important.
So this is after I. Shall we move to the book?
Yes, you should read your
This
passage.
is so let me
Oh,
read
there's
some.
pictures.
Yeah, there's pictures. So this
Pictures
is
there?
yeah. So I had an interesting. This is Curious Blue. I have two books. One is called The Curious Little Calf Named Blue.
It's a children.
Bleu, B-L-E-U.
Bleu?
It's a children's book. So I think Petite Bleu was a perfect
Petit bleu.
wine to have tonight.
We tried to name it Petit Bleu in the
TTV wouldn't let us.
We wouldn't let
The
us.
federal government. We were lucky to get Petit pass. As far as I was concerned.
Yeah,
Petit
no.
Syrah,
French.
Petit Verdot. There's a whole bunch of great
Probably wouldn't pass
things
the
that
day.
could shut that down.
So anyway, there's a picture of here, a picture of us. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
can't really
you
see
can
it.
show it.
With me in Martha's Vineyard just a couple weeks ago with Little Blue, who I have a children's book out about him that's mentioned in this
So
book.
what kind of cows have these gigantic
These are
horns?
Scottish Highland cows.
Those look really dangerous.
That's what everybody says.
Well, look at them. They're massive with these huge
Sharp
skewers.
horns on their heads.
Seemed like they would
They're
just
out
sort
the
of
side of their head.
turn accidentally and bonk
They
you.
don't. They
That's
don't. They
good.
know where you are. If they wanted to get you, you could. Look at this picture in the back. Look at that. And me and my steers.
Yeah, and then it just turns to look at the camera, and you get.
Well, you learn how to duck. You duck. You'd figure it out. So
I
let me.
wanted you talked about Martha's Vineyard, so we're going to go back to that. But
Okay,
go ahead.
good. So basically, the farm was pretty much just. I didn't know what I was doing. Absolutely not what I was doing. I mean,
So
I was.
after the school, did you guys start a farm?
I had
With your
horses.
first-
I
with
had
your
horses.
first husband?
Yeah, no, I just had horses. Just had horses. The farm
commercial
started with
purposes?
second husband. No, just horses.
The horses were just
For me to-
pleasure for riding.
yeah,
Just
just
because
to
you
eat.
at 7 you knew horses.
I
were
knew
it.
horses
That's
were
it.
it, yeah.
That was part of the deal. You're gonna marry this guy. You're gonna have horses.
Yes,
Okay.
that
So
was
you
the
got your
whole deal.
horses. So you're riding
Sometimes.
through the countryside
yeah.
and enjoying your horses.
Getting hurt, college.
So
Yeah.
Not
that's
only do
all-
horses not pay the bills,
Not pay.
they consume the
They
bills.
consume.
Yeah.
So you were doing other things at this time.
Yeah, I learned how to, I got into high tech. I learned how to program computers. I worked for Hewlett Packard for quite a few years, 18 years, making gobs of money so that we could farm. You know, it's like winning the lottery if you work for a corporation. So until I was like 2012, I worked for Hewlett Packard and made
Wow.
tons of money.
Wow.
So they paid me well.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody worked for a corporate job,
Sure,
they do pay
sure.
well.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
yeah.
it. I felt
Yeah,
like
it's
I
an
was
exciting
unstuck.
time.
Oh,
Through computers.
oh my God!
The
It was
90s. Really exciting. time.
amazing. No internet, and then we built an internet,
Yeah.
and we did everything.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's
it's all
right.
falling apart
Went
now.
from big floppy things
Yes.
to littler
Yes.
things, and then to
Yes.
none at all.
Yes, I started programming with cassette tapes on a TRS-80.
I can't believe we've just gone here.
I used to
think
push-
of you as the farmer.
I used to do punch cards.
And you're
for
a
my dad.
computer programmer.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah.
Is that in the
computer
book?
Wow.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Oh, I gotta talk to you more about coding and stuff.
Oh,
That-
Bruce is the
that-
one. My husband is the one to talk about that.
Oh,
He's a coder too?
Oh God, yeah. The thing is,
These are farmers that take our musk.
Where have we been?
I didn't know about
I
this.
know.
He's
This
a
is
nerd.
great.
He actually is a more talented programmer than I am, but I made more money because he's a nerd. He couldn't talk to people, you know? He couldn't work with
Couldn't negotiate and
Yeah.
get the yep.
Yeah, I could, fake it much better than him. So
It's part of the game, I guess.
That is the game.
fake it till you make it. And that's kind of what this book is about. Because I learned by doing, not by planning. We just kind of did it.
Yep.
We just kind of killed.
I'm like-minded. The same thing.
That's how we got here.
This whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
This whole winery.
yeah.
This whole
Yeah.
Hermit Woods exists. We just.
And I
make it up.
believe it's because of the who, not the how. It's you guys who
It
made
is.
it happen.
It's definitely a
It's
person.
not because you had a plan.
No.
We did not have
We
a
still
plan.
don't have a plan.
Still working on
You
it.
kidding me?
That's what I love about it. And that's,
Just like right now, we didn't have a plan for this.
yeah, you didn't
2
know
days
that
ago,
I
he
would
goes,
drop
"What
in.
about Carole? Let's see if I she could come and."
This
do
was
another
all
show."
scripted. We had a whole plan.
Great. Wait, I forgot the script.
We went to the
Yeah.
script.
What are we supposed to talk
Get
about
back on the
next?
script. We're supposed to read the passage
Oh, yeah,
from
yeah.
the book.
So
That's
anyway.
right. We're trying
You're
to
off
get
script.
there.
Yeah, so my whole life is about this. My whole life is being, until recently, I have been completely motivated by external circumstances. And then I realized that does not have to happen. That when it's a hot day, I don't have to be miserable, it can just be a hot day. So this is where it came to me. Are you ready? So
I'm ready.
it includes husband.
That's good.
Okay. Ouch, I shouted from under the truck. You okay? Asked Bruce. The mechanism to lift the retracted ball hitch in the truck's bed was rusted shut. Bruce needed an extra set of hands to pull a lever while he lifted the ball from above. In physical pain from hitting my head and frustrated that the hitch was old and rusty, I was angry at the truck. I wondered what mattered as I lay under the truck waiting for the pain to pass. What if I decided at that moment not to be frustrated or controlled by the truck? This is new here. Christian Science, which I was raised as, taught me that matter has no control, that mortal bounds are not real, and the only reality is in thinking. The nagging thought floated through the back of my mind. I wanted it to be true. I wanted to take control of my life. That's when I found Coach Charlotte Smith.
Wow.
Under the truck.
Under the truck.
She's good.
You didn't edit my book for me, did you? And she goes on to see, Charlotte helped me see the neutrality of accidentally killing 3 cows, which I talk about in the book. I accidentally killed 3 cows, sort of like the sow lying on her babies. My actions killed the 3 cows, but she helped me understand that the deaths were neutral and that my thoughts made the difference. So that's my new journey on life now,
Sure.
is coaching and coaching myself that what we think is what we are. What we think creates our feelings.
We create our
I'm a
reality.
deep
Yeah.
believer in that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Our minds have so much control over our lives.
Everything.
And so many people don't ever actually recognize that.
They let everything
They let all the outside forces
control them.
control them.
And we don't.
And
we
in
don't-
this time, this day and age, with
Oh
all
my
this
God.
stuff on
There's
the
so
phone
much
coming at you,
controlling you.
Yeah.
so much wants to control.
Yeah.
And we're trained as children. That's why I said at 7, we don't let those things control us. And then we learn that maybe they should control us, that it does make a difference. There's nobody that
Prefrontal
teaches.
cortex.
So is it? I
That's-
was listening to a podcast this morning about a guy who's inventing a system where he's actually figured out how to read your brainwaves from a plug in your ear.
Oh, yeah.
An earplug. Yeah, and so he's brilliant. He's got a great model, and he's figured out how to create headphones that while you're listening to a show, if you stop listening intently, it will tell you, it will warn you, it will give you signals when you're drifting off. It reads your brain and gives you. And I'm thinking the whole time I'm reading this or I'm listening to this podcast, I'm thinking to myself. So the exercise that I have to go with to be aware and make conscious decisions with my brain about what I'm reading and that I need to pay attention to it all goes away my need to control my own mental thinking goes away because I now have a device.
You're just going to have this annoying coach there saying,
No, I know, but one of the things that's most important that I've learned in my life is, as you pointed out, we have an enormous amount of an ability to control our lives with our brains, and we often don't. And this tool is circumventing some of those very basic and very easy controls that we learn or should learn and should implement.
Are you saying we're outsourcing those controls to this tool?
So this tool sort of outsources some of the basic and most simplistic ways in which we can exercise control over our ideas and thoughts and thinking and direction. And so
but that's the, I mean,
it takes us further and further away from what really should be happening, and is that we're not using our brains enough to control our environment.
So you're not saying this is a good thing?
No,
this is something we're advocating control of our thinking to this tool that we should.
That's how I feel.
I agree. I absolutely.
Maybe it would train you to notice those things, so then you get used to recognizing when it's happening, and maybe it would teach you how to do it without the device.
So this is why.
Or maybe it would teach you to rely on the device. Who knows?
Children, when I'm in my 90s, there'll be many youthful people who will say, that curmudgeon, he doesn't get it. He's just a curmudgeon. Because I'm not going to get this new world that we're living in, where you need these tools which will be fine for the young.
that happens as you get older.
That's what happens. Yeah, it's like so my grandfather was that curmudgeon. I said, what a curmudgeon! He doesn't understand Led Zeppelin at all.
I had the first one when Max brought up the first one. He talked about a younger generation. This is my son.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Your son?
my son. He's 33, and he had this comment about something that was going on in the world, and I'm going, what? We're just separating from the generation that's younger than you.
Yeah, it's happening early for him.
Well, no, actually, I was seeing not a podcast, but actually just a sort of a Instagram personality that I follow that she talks about some more like kind of fashion trends of millennials versus Gen Z or Gen X, right? The young folks at Gen X, and talking about how this is sort of more fashion related, but it's the same idea that millennials are so clinging to certain fashion trends, almost sort of in defiance of the fact that we've realized that we're no longer the relevant sort of trend. You know, all the things are being advertised and things for the younger generation, and we're not relevant anymore, and what we like isn't relevant anymore, and they don't care. So we're extra. Yeah, so we're sort of extra attached to those. We cling to our skinny jeans because we want to be cool, and that was cool, but now what's cool doesn't matter to us. And
These
sort of
trends are
it's
happening
that
more rapidly.
once you hit that point, which probably is, I would say probably happens in your 30s. It probably happened, I don't know, maybe the same thing happened in your 30s, that the world stops catering to you're not being marketed to anymore. There's a generation below you, and hitting that point and realizing that you're no longer the trendsetters.
I kind of escaped it because I was just in my own world doing my own
You never
thing.
cared.
But
That's fair, yeah.
But isn't
Never
this?
cared. I was never in the.
I truly believe that those things are all happening, but I still think more and more people are embracing the idea that our thoughts control what we do. I feel that, and maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we know this is
I hope
the
you're right.
case, though. The whole attention economy is based. If you were programming for Hewlett Packard now, like some 20-year-olds are doing, it's about how to grab someone's attention and keep that attention. And that's
Oh,
how
I
they
know.
make their money.
I
So
know,
all
that's
the
all
coding is done
social
to look
media.
at the dilation of your pupil, to look at your changes, to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Just like you out there.
But this is
So
what
it keeps
they
going.
should be watching. This is great.
I agree. So I want to get us back to Miles Smith Farm.
Yeah, we need to go back to the farm because we need to go from the horses to an active farm with
Okay.
Big
horned
horn.
cattle.
How did you choose that cat?
But how
We
does this happen?
needed something to keep them. So Bruce, current husband, came with a tractor, which I bought him a mower to keep the fields mowed because every 10 minutes in New Hampshire,
Every 5 minutes this
every
summer.
3
This
yeah,
summer,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So we were losing the mower to rocks and it was really, our fields were not in that great shape. Thank you, Miles Smith. They weren't quite, well, maybe they were good in his day, but rocks.
He didn't build enough
We grow rocks.
stone
Yeah,
walls.
we
Glacial
grow
till,
rocks.
all the
Mhm.
rocks
Yeah.
come up out of it.
So we wanted to find a cow that would eat the brush, and the Scottish Highlander came to be the ones that we would get, that they were hardy, easy to give birth, easy to raise, don't die
So
easily.
this was just so you could avoid mowing the field.
Yes.
And,
I like it.
and,
Labor-saving device, yes.
and what about
And how much labor saving because of it?
Oh, I don't know. They do a good job mowing.
Okay,
They do a
that's
good
good.
job
That's
mowing.
good.
and these are for eating. You
We
raise-
started out with them for eating. Now I mostly raise them for pets.
For pets?
You have pet cows.
Yes.
Would you
That's
take them
amazing.
out
I'm
to
called
the
a-
park?
I'm
Do
Well, you
called
do
a-
name them.
They
I'm-
and
I'm-
well,
I
and
know
they're
that.
my new job is cow flipping.
cow flipping?
I'm
I've
a
heard,
cow
I've heard
flipper.
of cow
Tipping.
No, this is flipping.
What's cow
Cow
flipping? So you
Find new
raise them and
homes.
then find a new home.
I get, no, I
That's
don't
where
even raise
Martha's
them.
Vineyard comes in.
Well, that kind of fits in. I buy these cattle that are, people don't want them anymore. They don't want them. There's a divorce, they gotta get rid of a whole
Sharp
herd.
horns.
A couple of people skewered by some cows. You know, it happens. So I buy these cattle and then I evaluate them and I train them to be friendly. And if they're friendly, I sell them. And if they're not friendly, I keep them for breeding. People from California, from Florida, from Texas.
Really? There's a
I've
big
sold
market.
them all over the place, yeah. Yeah, little cat. And Scottish Highland calves are hard to find. So people are willing to pay me because
So this whole lawn mowing thing just went into a
lawn
whole
mowing.
lawn mowing.
Lawn mowing.
Went into
Oh.
a whole
And the
direction.
See,
meat
we don't need
business.
Priscilla. We got it.
We still eat some of them because, like the boys, you know, what do you do with
They
them?
skewer more people than the gals.
And they don't even know it.
So we do sell beef, but mostly I sell cute little calves, cute little baby calves.
Before they realize what they're
So-
getting into.
Are Scottish Highland known for? I don't think of that as being sort of your typical beef. Most of the time, are they?
Because they grow
I mean-
very slowly. It takes 3 years to get a
Okay.
Highland cow. Now I have to be careful because a Scottish Highlander, ER, is a person. Highlander.
Oh right.
A Scottish Highland is a bovine, is a cow. Scottish
Okay.
Highland.
Thailand.
So yeah, they do make good meat, and we sell some that way.
It's just not as efficient.
Not as efficient.
Thus-
Thank you.
So,
Exactly.
so when you were becoming a farm to raise cows, to produce meat, to sell meat for the farm, that's one of the goals, was that?
Yes, it was. Well, no, it was just to clear the fields, and then we.
Okay.
Then we decided to process one of them, and I was a vegetarian until then. I was a vegetarian. I could not stand eating meat. I did not want to eat meat because I thought that those animals in the slaughter in those facilities out west, I didn't want to have
Sure.
animals suffer.
Sure.
But I knew the animals I was raising weren't suffering.
Right, so you could eat them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew their names, so I could eat them.
That's great.
So I have switched from, and now I'm still a vegetarian when I eat out because I don't know where the meat's
Right.
from. I don't know.
Right.
Where it's from. But when I'm home, I'll just.
That's kind of funny because I'll go over to Ken's house for dinner and Maya will be serving some meat, chicken or something. So, did you know the name?
Good for you!
Yeah.
Yes, excellent,
Of course.
excellent. And do you know the name?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
At least where it's from.
Yeah.
The name of the farm.
Yeah. Well, we try very hard to.
Oh yeah.
And I know
Yeah, you know, I know.
you have still have a
Yes.
freezer of meat.
So this is my connection to Miles Smith is that a couple times over the past few years, my partner Steve and I have bought bulk meat from Miles Smith. So even though you're not raising all of these different animals yourself, you can get lots of very, very good local, wonderful meat from Miles Smith. You have a farm store there,
Right, we do, we
but
do.
you can also place orders and get large amounts of it at once.
Like half a cow.
Yeah,
the whole
so
farm, yeah.
we did a small, I think we split a lamb with Steve's cousin a few years ago. And then I think it's coming up on 2 years now. We walked in and it was great. We walked in and we said that we were going to do a bulk meat order, and we got half a cow, a lamb, and a pig all at once. And when we walked in and said that, the person working I can't remember her name. It's
Marianne.
Marianne, I think, yes. Who, because I went to high school with her daughter, so I know that. Yeah. So yeah, she was just like, oh, all right then, okay. And so that wasn't all meat for us. We split the cow. We split with Steve's mom and aunt. The lamb we split with my mom, and the pig we split with Steve's cousin. But it was still a lot of meat at once.
Picture.
Yeah, so we had a big we bought a new freezer. We have both a small chest freezer and an upright freezer in our garage that we filled with meat. And it was great because when you fill out the form, you got to choose. There were some choices about, do you want it all ground or do you want the different cuts? And you got to pick all your different cuts. And it's been fantastic because it's all wonderful, high quality meat. And you get things that you wouldn't get otherwise. You go to the grocery store and you're going to get your typical steaks and ground beef and things, but with this, we got the ox heart and we have a pig's head in our freezer still, and we've got all this lard and we've got suet and we've got beef shanks, things that we wouldn't have bought otherwise or that you can't buy at the grocery store. And it's forced us to be a little more creative and find new recipes and use the pressure cooker because that's the way you cook a lot of the funkier things. You just throw in that, make a stew.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy.
And it's fantastic. We're getting down. We're starting to get to a point.
Back.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be back.
She'll be back. Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So how many cows do you
Well,
have? I mean, it must flux because
yeah, and I usually, when I count, I usually start falling asleep. Oh no, wait, that's sheep. But the other day, someone who has
Priscilla's gonna love this episode.
Yes, she is. We have a club member who just
Loves
puns more than anything. So
She has a lot of very good ones.
she's very good at it,
good.
better than anybody I've
Good.
ever met.
Good.
So you're counting cows.
Well, I think we have about 40 right now. Because we have 2 calves due, and if they're born, then it's 42.
It's
And
fascinating to me that you have a farm and you think you have about 40 cows.
the crazy
Well, I
thing,
think I have about 40 barrels.
And this is coming
I
from
don't
a
really-
computer programmer.
the
Nonetheless.
barrels don't move.
Yeah, I know.
The
Yeah,
cows
they're
are
easier to count.
constantly
They don't move
walking,
around.
and you're like, did I count you already?
I know. When we have a full house of people in the room, sometimes I try and count them. It is so hard to
Don't you
count
just peg
a
them with a
room.
paint gun? Just start tagging them all.
Yeah. They move.
I'm not that I'm comparing our guests to cows, but nonetheless,
Careful.
when the room is full of people, it is, and they're moving around, especially, it's really hard
It's
to
really
count.
hard.
I
It's
get
really
it.
hard.
Why don't you
Yeah.
just take a picture?
That's a way to do it, I suppose. That's brilliant. Who thought of that?
He's a scientist, and that's why he's.
That's how you do crowd counts.
How we
You
get
get a
along.
photograph, you do a circle
And you take.
or a square, and you count it in the square, and then you just measure across how many
I
squares you got.
learned
Done.
something tonight. Look at that. I could do that with
You
my
could have a little
cows.
drone and just take a photograph of the field. and
Yeah,
boom.
drones are
So
We're
we
running
are-
out of time.
we
We've
are
got-
gonna run out of time.
we've got
There's
5
two
minutes.
things that I want to make sure we cover before we go. First of all, hardcore sales pitch. Miles Smith Farm. What do you want the world out there to know about what you have to offer the rest of the world? So when are you open? The basics.
cool. Well, we're open.
Hardcore sales pitch.
Okay, hardcore. We're open not as often as we were before. We're open just Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
And you can come to the farm and you can take a tour of the farm, a self-guided tour, either of those 2 days.
Yep.
But
What hours?
10 to 5.
10 to 5.
But
That is the Saturday.
cool, very cool, is that you can order online 7. What is it? Is it
24/7.
24/7.
24/7.
And we
and
ship.
Pick up on you ship.
We ship and we deliver. We deliver if you're within like 2 hours of the farm or an hour of the farm. Otherwise, we ship.
Minimum order.
$150, I think.
Okay.
And then there's a small. We used to do it for free, but we have to add a little shipping charge.
Sure. And it's mostly just meats, or do you have other?
No, mostly meats. We like people to buy beef, but we do have some chicken,
Okay.
and we have pork. We get some pork, and what else we have? Bacon. Bacon is.
So you don't raise the chicken or the pigs, but you source them
We don't.
locally?
There's local source. It's local. This chicken is from Misty
Names?
Knoll. I don't know. Probably all the same name. Cluckers. Clucker 1, Clucker 2.
Not everybody
And-
names
but
their
wait,
chickens.
No. And we
They
get.
might now though.
But yeah, Misty Knoll is fun. So they're in Vermont, just south of
Misty Knolls,
Middlebury,
yeah.
and it's fun because I think they're sort of the go-to poultry, if you're looking for,
Yeah,
you know,
good
sort of
quality poultry, yeah.
because it's the same. There's a great market over in Warner, the Yankee Farmers
Yeah,
Market,
and he
and they
does-
do buffalo.
Yeah.
But if you go there, you can also order. My mom's gotten our Thanksgiving turkey from there, but they're also sourcing from Misty Knoll
Right.
for sort of
Right.
the.
And then we raise Scottish Highlander on our farm. We also raise some of the grass-fed beef. But we have a contract with another farmer who does grass-fed beef, and they're so much more efficient than we are in raising the
So
beef.
you'll carry their beef.
So we have their beef, and we have both grain finished and grass-fed, because some people like the grain finished beef. So we do that, and then now I'm doing coaching. I do coaching, and we didn't
Life
even
coaching?
talk about mindset coaching.
Mindset.
Yeah, to let people.
Well,
know.
we might have to have you on again.
I would love to talk
I
about
know,
mindset
this-
coaching.
Conversation.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
God,
all-
yeah, we can talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I also want to know why you chose those 3 wines.
Oh,
Well, these two are on our contrarian menu.
Okay.
Well, by these two, it's both Lake House Red.
We were talking about the contrarian menu. Like, oh, well, let's bring some of those wines up. So
what is
that's
the
how they came up.
contrarian menu?
We have a new tasting menu. So we have 2 now. You can come in and taste our sort of flagship wines, the best-selling wines, the ones that most people know and are
Yep.
familiar with. Or we have
some special
a contrarian menu. We have about 35 wines. Only about 12 or 15 of them are mainstream wines that people are familiar with. And then the rest would be more esoteric, a little bit different from the mainstream. Nonetheless delicious, but smaller quantities, not as available, and going after a palate that might be looking for something a little different than the mainstream.
Excellent, excellent, yeah.
So we have a tasting menu for those folks.
And then Summer in Session was sitting there.
It's still in
Look
session.
really
We have
good.
a
Still in
few more
session.
days.
That summer?
Yes. Summer in session. We're still in session.
That's good.
It still feels summery. It was a hot
Oh my
week.
gosh, yeah.
Now it's cooled off and it's raining. It feels more like fall.
It was
but-
the only hot week
Yeah,
that
of
we
course.
had this
Yeah.
summer. The rest of it was rain.
Rain, and that's been hard on farmers.
It must be
rain.
really hard. Well, it's
Yeah.
been hard on our farmers. Between
Oh,
the frost
yeah.
We've
on
had,
May
we've had all
18th,
sorts of challenges.
this has been one of the
You
hardest.
have you been able to get
farmers
apples?
years. Not very soon.
No.
No. Yeah, that's hard.
Couldn't get peaches, couldn't get plums,
Mm.
can't get kiwis, a whole bunch of stuff is going. Just found out not going to be able to make 3 honey wine, which is made from spring honey, because what the bees foraged
I hope
on in the
Carol's
spring
not listening.
were
She
all
is.
destroyed by the frost. So there's no light color early season honey.
Oh, but does that mean you get to make the nice dark late season honey instead?
Well,
That would
Somebody
be,
likes late season honey.
That
yeah.
would be
The not mead.
I don't
Yeah,
suppose
there's
he
no-
has that.
I don't know, he might. There's
That would be
the
cool.
Japanese
That's
knotweeds
one-
out.
That is one of my favorite honeys in the world. Hope we-
So we'll maybe get some other honey.
Japanese
I can do
knotweed
that.
honey.
I will do that.
Not
We'll have some not mead.
Not mead.
K-N-O-T.
Not mead, yeah.
The one, at least locally, the one good use of Japanese knotweed is the honey that comes from the flowers.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
You must
Very
have
good for
knotweed
pollinators.
on your
I'm
property.
sure we do. I'm sure I would like to kill it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's problematic.
Thistle. Do you use thistle in wine ever?
Which one?
Thistle wine?
I have not.
It makes a good tea.
Not
but
yet.
I don't know
No,
about.
I don't know about wine.
Yeah.
So where do you see the farm 5-10 years from now?
Well, that's a good
see
closing
it doing
question.
More training. I'm trying to.
More training.
Coaching.
Yeah, getting back to Martha's Vineyard. So coaching, we had a summer camp with kids that came to summer camp. We had 40, 50 kids come, and they want to come back. They got a calf for a whole week. These calves that I trained, and then the kids continued to train them. So it was really cool.
Great
And the most
idea.
exciting thing is we had the kids 8 to 14 years old, and
No
these 8
7-year-olds?
mature 7-year-olds. Mature. So these 9-year-old kids 8-year-old kids would come and say, "When I was younger, I used to do this," and I'm like, "Where did that come from?" You know, I used to do. But it's just, I love working with kids and calves, and that's where I want to go. I mean, the meat business, it's important we eat, but training calves and kids
Great.
is just awesome.
Well, that's how you expand what you do, how you see things, is by teaching. That's how you multiply yourself. That's
And-
how you affect change.
And having the calves be the trainers. because the kids wouldn't believe me.
No, no.
And
But
the
they'll-
calf
they'll
won't do
listen to
it,
the calf.
and they will. And then if they don't do it right, the calf won't do it right. So it's just they're the best trainers in the world. The best trainers. It's cool.
Well, that's great. I'm going to bring this
Yeah.
to an end. We've been on for an hour already, and we
Goes
could
so
go
fast
on
every
for
week.
another hour.
I know,
but
we just got started.
I do want to one more plug
Thank
before we go. Brand new book just came out in the last month.
Hot off the press, yeah.
Yes, I named
I
it.
like
I
it. I
love
love
the
the
title.
title.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So
It's like-
I look forward to reading it, and I hope all of you out there will get yourself a copy on
Are we gonna
Amazon.
have this
There's a
here?
link. There's a
Can we have this book here?
I will leave it here.
we can
To
yeah,
sell.
I
can we
have-
sell this?
Yeah, I have a box in my car.
We
Yeah.
should sell this book. Yes, we'll
Okay.
buy these to sell. So
Yeah.
yes, you can now get this
Available at the winery.
Amazon, at the winery, and at
Yes.
Miles Smith Farm, and probably some other places
Anywhere.
soon. And we hope you do. And if you don't, you still should visit Miles Smith Farm on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 5, and
And you should
take a
sign
tour.
up.
And if you like
Sign up
really good tasting meat, you should buy some from there.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
Good
been
stuff.
tenderized by the must.
And on that
It's a
note,
little petite blue. And
Cheers, everybody.
steak.
In every steak. Yes.
There we go.
I like that. Yes.
where should we put that?
Perfect.
Tagline.
Little petite blue.
In every steak. So once again, you have spent another evening with the Hermits and our newest Hermit.
I'm proud.
Yes. So thank you, Carol. It was a pleasure
My
Miles
job.
having
Smith
you
and Joseph
on with us.
Plummer.
Yes,
You know,
Miles, we
100
got to
years ago.
dig into this
Gotta
a
make
little
that
bit
happen.
more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Very cool.
next week will be a surprise. We don't know where we're going to be next week, but we will let you
Literally
know.
have no idea.
We literally have no idea, but we will not.
And
be
hopefully
here.
there will be
So
enough signal.
There will be, yes, hopefully enough signal. One way or another, we will have something for you next Monday at 5:30, as we always do. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers, everybody. Have a good night.
Cheers.
Now our sound is off, but we're still visible to people.
So we can swear.
So we can
Yeah.
swear now, yeah. So
This
for,
is a
for about 1 minute,
fascinating
we have
We just have to pretend like
just
it.
pretend. Cheers, yeah. Good show.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's fascinating. What a great,
There's so much,
So
yeah.
much tonight.
what a great journey you've had.
horses and violin.
Who knew?
Who would have ever thought?
Who would have known?
So how did you get to know Gordon?
He was a co-writer. His column was on my same page. On the same page.
Oh,